Well, it is great to see you. Appreciate you joining us. We've got lots going on in our weather, so come on in. We'll check this out together. I'm your American weatherman, Carl Rippy. Now, with the disturbance that we have in the Gulf, a hurricane named Milton, we have some really strong winds in Milton within the eye wall and out and around its vicinity. So anywhere from that 150-mile-an-hour winds to that 130. Now, it is forecast to degrade just a bit as it gets to the Florida coastline, which in terms of a hurricane and the environment and some of the dynamics with the friction on the land, it is going to bring it down. But even at a Category 3, we're still talking about well over 100-mile-an-hour winds, and nobody wants that. So with that torrential rain and that storm surge that is forecast to be a nuisance as we get into our Wednesday overnight into Thursday, that's going to affect many of our travel plans. This is a closer look at Milton, looking down from space onto the earth, seeing right into the eye wall, looking at Milton as it is moving to the north and northeast with a forecast landfall early Thursday morning. So Wednesday night overnight into Thursday morning. Now, this is the track as we see it. We're still going to have those embedded winds at 150 mile an hour, 125 mile an hour as it meets up with the Florida coastline. It's going to move on across Florida then and exit into the Atlantic. Lots of action into the Gulf. Warm waters are encouraging development. And for us here on One Happy Island, the impact is minimal. Our winds may be influenced some because that air is rushing into that opening between the Yucatan Peninsula and Cuba. We see that easterly flow from the east to the west. We call those easterlies. For those of you that aren't familiar with those, they're 15, 20 mile an hour. Sometimes we get gusts that are even more than that. And that is going to encourage some storm development. But with that flow, we'll notice these clouds get a little heavier at times, and then they dissipate. They mix in and they move on. So we could get in on an afternoon shower. It isn't likely that we're going to have a torrential rain, but we could have some strong rains as we get through the rest of the week, overnight Friday into Saturday and into the weekend. So we do have that instability that is in place. Wave height wise, pretty standard for us, not going to be anything too out of control. Some of those wind driven waves may be a little higher, 1.5 meters to 2 meters depending on location. But cloud cover wise and temperature wise, it's going to be really pleasant out on the beach. We'll see those conditions in the early morning being really pleasant as well, into the lower 80s. A mid to upper 80 for us as we get into the afternoon. Nice to have some relief. Even a degree or two makes a huge difference, especially where we've had a lot of 90s. We're going to dip into those upper 80s. We'll see some of those 90s pop back into the forecast for our Saturday and Sunday. Overnight lows remaining fairly mild, fairly pleasant in those lower 80s. So we do have some nice weather to enjoy here on One Happy Island. That's a quick look at what is going on and available on Linky TV and Aruba Native News. I'll catch you next time.